Are we
Oh,
filming?
Love it.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. So, hey everyone, this is James Archery with Fika Unfiltered, and
Sarah Bachman.
today we have a special guest. Who are you, sir?
Hey everyone, Mike Mutzel, and my YouTube channel is High Intensity Health. If people are interested.
Otherwise, also on IG, you're Metabolic Mike.
Metabolic Mike, yeah.
Where did that
Powerful
come
name.
from? Yeah.
You know what? It's funny. I share a lot of research, or I used to, I should say. I don't post as much anymore because I started a manufacturing company, and that's demanded a lot of my time. But how
We're
I
going to
started
get into
creating
that too, by the way.
Totally. Metabolic health is, I think, really important for longevity, obviously preventing cancer, heart disease, we know has a lot of metabolic origins. So when I started sharing content online after getting fired in 2013, it's been very much focused on metabolic health. That's just been something I've naturally been interested in since I was a young kid. You know, the physique and all that was interesting to me, Jean-Claude Van Damme and you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, growing up watching those movies. But underlying all of that with regards to muscle and physique is metabolism, right? People that have more lean skeletal muscle mass and more strength, they have the greater ability to absorb glucose from their bloodstream, and they live longer and don't require 24-hour medical assistance over the age of 65. Many people in this country, as sadly as we know, require adult family homes and 24-hour care. They're on multiple medications. So I was like, I do not want to be like that. I saw my grandfather get congestive heart failure when I was in high school. Then my grandmother had dementia, and I was like, dude, I do not want that, for me. So I really got into metabolic health and all that.
I love that because nutrition is everything, and how we take care of ourselves. A lot of illnesses can be prevented by how we show up for ourselves with especially food.
Totally.
So thank you for your contribution to the world.
Yeah.
Trying to teach, the
So-
masses about that.
You brought up very briefly, you said in 2013 you were laid off, right?
Yes.
So I don't know about you, but like I've been fired. Babe, have you ever been fired before?
I have never been fired.
Wow.
I
Okay.
don't have that experience. No.
Yeah.
I was fired one time. So man, I'll tell you what, when I was at IBM, I found myself at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I was getting promoted every year and a half. So it just kind of caught me off guard. And I mean, I should have seen the signs. I found myself in a situation where the boss was very toxic, and he would talk bad about other employees to your face,
Yeah.
which is a very clear indication that he's probably talking bad about you to their face.
Right.
That's a lesson I learned too, is just do be very careful when you think your boss is like chumming up with you by talking crap about other employees. That there's no loyalty, there's no respect. If they're tearing them down publicly, they're tearing you down publicly.
Totally.
And that is not the boss you want to have around you. And so I found myself pushing back against him one time, and he did not like that. And then I just got part of a layoff, and it was the hardest thing. I was like 28 years old. I'd been spent 7 years of my life at IBM. It was my first company out of college. And I was like, it's hard when you don't do anything wrong, at least to termination. But I knew I took that energy. I was like, because I knew I didn't do anything wrong. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let this define me. You know what? I'm going to take a month off. I'm going to go enjoy unemployment on a beach. And I'm going to study, machine learning, because I was at IBM at the time. So I'm going to study what Microsoft had, what Amazon had. And you know what? 3 months later, I found myself at Microsoft, which actually brought me to Redmond, Bellevue, Washington. And that's where you and I met.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
It's kind of a full circle situation. Actually,
Uh-huh.
there's always, that's actually really cool. There's rebirth opportunities in fire.
Oh, for
So
big time.
can you go about your rebirth with this firing and like whatnot?
Yeah, no, it was a blessing in disguise. At the time, it really hurt because I had an unhealthy attachment with my coworkers and the people I was working with, and it was sort of my identity. And then, so I worked for a distributor of a nutrition company.
Oh, so you've been in this space for a
Yeah, I
while.
was selling products to doctors, and I started doing this in 2006. So we have retail supplements you buy at Whole Foods and online and whatnot. And then now all the so-called professional brands are really on Amazon as well. Metagenics, Zymogen, Pure Encapsulation. So I worked for one of those companies and managed multiple territories, and then moved to the Northwest and managed this territory. And then I started selling, because I met a lot of healthcare practitioners who were entrepreneurs. And I realized that they could do more sales if they just went retail. And so I helped one of my good friends who now has a $60 million business. I brokered and helped him formulate and get off the ground his custom formulations like you're doing and like I'm doing now. And the distributor didn't like that because they didn't make as much money. But I saw a lot of potential, and he quickly became the parent company's biggest customer. And so anyway, so they fired me. The parent company hired me on. So no one really knew. And then I managed territory. Then I managed the Midwest and then Canada, and that's how I started the podcast too. So it really this low moment, because I had a daughter. She was 11 months old at the time. I'm like, what am I going to do? Yeah. But then 3 days later, the parent company was like, hey, they made a mistake. We'll bring you on, and then we'll just put you in different roles. And then I was wanted to listen to my intuition. My ex-wife, my wife at the time, we were going to move to Chicago, and then I was writing a book. It's called Belly Fat Effect. It's sold on Amazon and all that. The premise or a précis of that book was all about the gut hormones that are now popular. So GLP-1 and Ozempic. I was a huge fan of the Human Microbiome Project.
This is way back then.
This was 2012, 2013. Actually, I wrote the book when my daughter was born because I'm like, I need something else, here. Anyway, there's all these nutritional ways to increase the very hormone that people are spending so much money on, the GLP-1 agonists and all that are upstream of insulin and glucagon. Like, these hormones are amazing. Oh my God, just like when you're cooking food, the smell of the aroma of like garlic and onions that stimulates these so-called incretin hormones. We hear a lot about GLP-1, but there's 26 different gut hormones. They're all really important. Anyhow, I was writing this book, and this dude tried to steal my wallet in a coffee shop in Chicago. And I'm like, dude, I just signed a lease right outside of Wrigley Field. And I'm like, I called my then wife, like, we're not moving to Chicago. So, and the company didn't really like that. And I knew that my term, like, I wouldn't be able to, long term, they wanted someone to live in this territory. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start a podcast at the same time. And so I would travel back and forth and all that. And, anyway, so that was a rebirth, going through a breakup. Like, the divorce was challenging with my daughter, but going through a sort of a trauma bonded breakup in 2024 was challenging. But, I think, having a mindset and really not being, I think, when bad things happen to you, you can either be a victim or you can just take ownership of it and own your role in co-creating the decline of that, whatever that relationship is or what have you. And so that's the path that I took, and just read a lot of personal development books and went to seminars and Brendan Burchard's content and some of that stuff. So that was a really important point in my life, because I realized, like, no matter who I work for, I'm always going to be at the mercy of a boss, or some sort of supervisor, and I just want to work for myself. So that's how I eventually then started Myioscience and then a manufacturing facility. So that's...
thank you for sharing. That's so impressive, because we find ourselves surrounding ourselves with people that are obsessed of growth and choosing to take accountability, understanding that we are equally as involved in the decline of the situation, right? So
it's so easy to point the finger, but then remember, they say if you point the finger at someone, there's like 3 other or 4 others looking right back at you. It's like, hey, go inward first, bud.
Yeah.
But have you always been like this, or has there been moments in your life where you kind of fell victim to your circumstance, and that's what ultimately led you to understand that you need to take charge of your own life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say there were moments where I had a more victim mindset. But I think just as I got more mature and older, I would say I was, like, in my 20s, I was unconscious of my own co-creation. Like, I would, especially on email on a corporate level, like, I would fire off group emails that CC the whole company and say things. Not like, but I was just young. And
dude, I know I once had a boss say, hey, James, sit on your hands for a little bit, because I would type the emails out.
Yeah.
And it would be like, best advice she ever said to me. And she was a good boss because she picked up on anxiety pattern. Then she calls me, texts me to the side, and she's like, hey, why do you feel the need to respond right away to every email? Like,
being reactive.
Like 24 hours, but just wait, sit on things. Like, also, writing really long emails does not help anyone.
Yeah.
Those are phone calls.
Totally.
There could have been emails. Those are these are the updates. And then, actually, speaking of best practices, one of the things I learned too in business, if you can't figure out the path in 3 emails, that's a phone call.
Yes.
That was one of the coolest best practice I ever learned is like, if this keeps going in 3 and like clearly there's phone calls solve problems, because tonation, like everything gets lost in an email. So that's my business advice. 3 emails or less, 3 emails, that's the cutoff. Get the meeting set up. Go back to you, Big Dog.
No, I agree. And I think, we can take all this because we mirror our, patterns in business as we do in our interpersonal relationships as well, romantic relationships. So how we show up in our business or in our work life, and the errors or the flaws or the things we need to improve on mirror in our, so the communication patterns and all that. So I think, if you're in a Discord with a family member, with a friend, with your romantic partner, and you want to get feisty over text, just pick up the phone and call, or give it some time, then call later. So I think that, or just sending a message like, hey, I want to respond with intention, but I need to process. I'll call you later. Or can we carve out some time to talk? I've noticed, and so I see these patterns now that I'll be 44. I in younger, like I see myself in other people. So it's kind of interesting to have, like, I see this with my daughter. She'll get mad at me and she'll just fire off all these texts, and I'll call her. She'll like decline the call. I'm like, Nez, we need to talk. This is not what text is for. Just like this is not what email is for when it's really complex. So I think, and I had a mentor, my boss, who ultimately fired me, and we're still friends now. It's kind of cool. He was a really good communicative mentor to me early on. And that very thing that you just said, he would say, hey, certain things are great over email, but we got to call and just talk it out, if there's challenges. So anyway, getting back to your specific question, no, I was very unconscious when I was younger, but I've always had like a intrinsic motivation to be a better version of myself. And I feel like throughout life, and I remember, this sounds a little cheesy, but I played football in high school, and my coach, Butch Goncharoff, would always say, in football and in life, you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. You're never just standing still. And so I really took to that. At the time, I didn't quite conceptualize or fully understand what he was referring to, but I've seen friends or acquaintances who think they're coasting, they're working 9 to 5, they're partying on the weekends, they're actually going backwards. And so I think that, to me, and I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anyone, but I've had to sort of evolve out of friendships or over time. And that's, so I feel like if your friends aren't changing, then they should be growing with you. If not, you're not growing. Ooh. And so I think that's that's a tough lesson for people because, they have this idea, well, we've been friends since kindergarten. And that's cute and that's great. And that can work for sure. But just because you've been friends, or just because you've known someone, or just because you've been married for 40 years doesn't mean that necessarily that's what's going to be best for your higher self. So I don't know. That's kind of where I've looked at it. And that's what I found with my marriage is like, she's a great person. We co-parent great together, but we've both grown, and we're both better people now that we're not forced to be in a romantic relationship for parenting purposes. So that's been kind of cool to see. We still support each other and communicate and talk about our daughter all the time.
I believe that too, that people come and go as chapters. They're part of your growth or not, and that's okay. Yeah. And accepting that is a huge growth mindset. I think a lot of people should have, and not latch on, because that comes back to attachment and feeling like it needs to be a certain way because it's
always been that way.
It's always been, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's really cool.
Isn't it funny though, what you just said is you can be unconscious, but still try to, in your core, you're supposed to move forward.
Yeah.
Right.
But you don't have the understanding of the purpose why. Like for me, example, like I grew up on a farm, and I always, and I had a really positive influence from my grandfather who, fought in the Korean War, survived. It grew up in the Great Depression, breadlines type of a day. And so he was always like, you gotta have a job, save $100. As a 12-year-old, I'm like, how am I going to get $100? I don't have allowance. But that was really cool. He set the bar, and then I went and got that. But what was really cool, what you're alluding to, is like, I just always felt at a young age, I was like, I'm destined to do more. Now, does that mean I knew how to communicate my emotions and feelings, which is what we mean by conscious, right? Or being reactive? No. But I just knew the ball required me to move forward. I needed to go, to DC for college. I needed to go to New York City and do all these other things that was against the grain. When I was young, I had a Bill Gates cake when I was 10. I did. I kid you not. And here we are, in Redmond. because I read the book. I was looking about, I was all interested in like Windows and everything. I was like, holy crap, who's this guy? Right. And I even wrote him a letter when he was getting, persecuted, but like he was on trial for monopolistic behavior. And I was like, I support you as like a 10-year-old. I don't know any better. But I was like, now I look back, I'm like, yeah, okay, I could see it as being in tech, respect.
Right.
But what do you think that comes from? It's like where you can be moving forward at a core, but not have the conscious component.
I don't know. Is it our soul? Is it our constitution? I think some people are just, is it our dopamine receptor? Like some people that move west, they've looked at dopamine receptor, like where we like novelty and stimulation and so forth. I'm not sure. I think it's a bit of nature and nurture. My dad was born in New Jersey, then moved to Texas, and then moved out west. My mom was, West Coast. So I'm not sure if it's nature or nurture or the combination of the two, but I've always just sort of been not interested in just like living in my hometown, staying status quo. That's just seems boring to me. I'm of the belief that perhaps we iterate in different lifetimes and so forth, but we're here for a finite period of time and we want to make the most of it, like, and if someone, Elon Musk or whoever, can do great things, like why can't we? They're human beings too,
Yeah.
So
this is music to my ears because I lived my whole life like this, and it's an inner knowing that you're destined for more. Oof. And for me, I felt so deeply unsatisfied if I didn't feel like I made steps forward. So I would reevaluate my day every single day, and that's something we do every night. We go over the day and that's we awesome. Count
Take
our
inventory.
Yeah, exactly, and we call it glimmers to kind of reflect what was the moments that stood out that made us progress. Like this podcast, for example, that will be a glimmer for us talking about tonight, and if there was something that was not a glimmer, like a trigger or something that would reflect a wound or something, we would talk about that too. So we always make sure that we progress, and we also do it on a monthly basis. And because it's so important. And for me too, when things are going well in your life, everything comes easy. When you're on the right path, when things are working your way, like opportunities present themselves, you feel good. The people you surround yourself with are just giving you energy and not draining it. Like for myself, I would kept tearing my shoulders year after year and would have a year recovery. And being an arm wrestler, like I have to I can't go through that because I'm not going to be able to compete, right? So what is not in alignment? Why do I keep tearing my shoulder? Okay, I'm in the wrong environment, I'm not doing the right things. So that put me back on a path.
Yeah, and I think also not only when like you say, your closest 5 people you surround yourself with. This is the nurture part and the nature. And I think, like Sarah was saying, is the right people are going to energize. They're also going to challenge you. But they challenge you with respect, like in a respectful tone. They're not going to say, hey, you're an idiot. They're going to say, hey, I don't know if this is you actually being honest with yourself. Right. So if they challenge you with a question, instead of saying, hey, this is not the right relationship for you. This isn't, if anything, that makes you say, no, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Right. It doesn't dig your heels in harder. Yeah.
But Mike, that's what you said something in the sauna this morning. And by the way, thank you so much for giving us that opportunity. We did the sauna cold plunge.
That you made yourself?
Mike's residence.
So cool, dude.
Yeah.
Is that something you do every day or how often?
Yeah, we talked. I think it's a seasonal thing, and I like to use like intuition, if you will, to decide, how frequently and how much I should do it. Like, so my business is in Arizona. So we're in Washington. I travel a lot, and I feel like airplanes and EMF and all whatever microbes and all that. So when I come home, I sauna a lot. But when I'm down there, I don't. But I think using an intuitive approach to that, it's really relaxing. That's why, just like with the breath work that we did before we started this podcast, like that definitely changes your physiology and the sort of energy or alignment in the room. I feel like the same thing happens after a sauna. And so one change that I made in 2023 was giving up alcohol. I used to drink like a glass of wine here, and then it would turn into a bottle of wine periodically. And I just find I'm way more mentally clear. I recover better. I don't have bags under my eyes and things like that. Age better if I'm not drinking. So for me, that's sort of like my vice, and a way to change my physiology without substances. And so I feel like the contrast, especially with the cold plunge, that it's just a great way to shift your physiology. So using that as a tool, I think, can be great. And then before doing a podcast like this, it's awesome. But as men, we need things to like women can just go sit around and talk. But like for guys, we got to work out, or we got to watch a sports game, or like go in the sauna. So for like my male friends, we'll frequently do sauna therapy together. It's like guys need to do stuff.
What
so that's
love
cool.
that.
So I'll validate that even further. I remember listening to Chris Williamson podcast, and he talked about this thing in Australia called the they had a he shed instead of a she said.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose was that around all of Australia, they would do have men repair together broken lawnmowers. Because like you said, women can bond sitting across from each other. Majority of women can. But majority of men need to do a shared mission. Right? We are very much that mission oriented aligned, and it has to be like in the foxhole, side by side, right?
Yeah.
And so it's either building some. So initially what I did when I first moved to Seattle, not Seattle, but Austin, I created Lego nights for men because I was like, I didn't have broken lawnmowers, but I had Legos.
Yeah.
And what's cool, because we initially did the classic poker night. You don't bond over poker respectfully because you're competing.
Yeah.
So you're across from each other, and we're not really able to open up and talk about the hurts that we have because you can't show it. But when you're doing Lego, you're actually stimulating part of your brain, which is play. And you just find yourself then in this like flow state of just, so this is what I'm struggling with this week. And we would go around the horn. Usually max size is like 8 because it's like 2 hours. And you allow each person to share 5 to 10 minutes of like where they need help that month. And that's really, really cool. And you find yourself like really getting into some fun stuff.
That's awesome.
And it's like reinforced because when you heard them share their hurt, you're also remembering the Lego. So like it brings back the muscle memory in the brain. So exactly. I would validate like men, if you're looking for strengthening your relationships, do mission oriented things. It doesn't mean you have to go start a war. It could be as simple as doing Legos or playing video games next to each other. Like, man, I remember some of my fondest memories growing up was playing Halo.
Oh, yeah.
Those LAN
Halo was, the Xbox was so fun.
The OG Xbox, the LAN parties, screen looking.
That was so fun. Yes.
So Sarah brought up something earlier, which she was alluding to, which is like how if we identify a trigger. So it was really, really cool. It's like this is an unfiltered moment. For us was yesterday, we found ourselves driving back from Leavenworth to Seattle, Washington, and a Linkin Park song came on, and it was a live one with Chester. Missed that guy, RRP. And it was Crawling. And I told Sarah, I was like, I love Linkin Park. And it was funny because Sarah is like, she's like proper rock. So she doesn't subscribe to mainstream. What do you subscribe to?
Alternative, also
Nightwish?
Nightwish. Music that most people have not heard of. So when you go to a concert, it's not massive. It's just
but who are some bands?
Who
are some bands like Swedish bands?
I mean, Hammerfall, Nightwish, In Flames.
Oof, and we're gonna go see them.
Yes.
So where I'm going with this, but I wanted that because I wanted people to know how cool you are. Because Sarah's not a mainstream; she's better. Where I was going with this hurt is this song comes on, and if people don't remember, but he passed away through suicide. And so I almost took my life when I was 28, I believe. And I tried to, and it wasn't successful. And so suicide is a very like sensitive, not sensitive, but it's like something I can really empathize with men who chose to not continue the fight. And so I take it very personally that I have a responsibility to continue the story. As my love likes to say, show it's possible. And my mission is to show that there's strength and vulnerability. Like you cannot sit with the hurt. Because I end up finding men who find themselves in 40-year marriages, 27-year marriages where they just settle, or tolerate and then become smaller. And they feel like the only way out is and it's not.
Yeah.
There's, like you just said, accountability, you can quickly fix, not quickly, but if just one foot in front of the other. That was the message to myself, because she asked me, well, how'd you navigate that? But why I'm bringing this up is, and we'll go to the navigation, but why I'm bringing up the Chester song is I found myself tearing up. Because again, I was like, okay, he's no longer with us, but also like, I'm here. This is my mission. But I'm tearing up because it turned out I had some unresolved forgiveness with myself. I didn't realize it because I told her, like, at least I knew how to communicate. I was like, man, I'm sad because I'm not proud of that version that got there. And then I just kept talking. And what did you say to me?
Well, I have learned through my own healing that if we have an emotion attached to a memory, whether it's shame, guilt, sadness, anything that, like James expressed, he was not proud of. What's that mean? It means that he's ashamed of that version of him. So there's an emotion attached. The only way to heal is to acknowledge that that version of you exists and to forgive yourself for what you went through and offer compassion. And and it's only through my own healing that I could call it out, because I was like, oh, what do you mean you're not proud of? I am so proud of that version because you decided to, first of all, to stay with it, right? Like you brought yourself out from the darkest moment of your life. Like, I'm incredibly proud of that version of you. So I just wanted to offer that reflection to see if he could see it from a different perspective. And then what happened, babe?
Well, and I want to acknowledge the intuition of this woman. Women's intuition is no joke. Like you talked about, men, I think our thing is discernment, and women is like really that intuition. And so I'm glad that Sarah called it, because like I said, other examples could have been, you could have heard a friend say that and you could be like, dude, it's okay, you're loved. And then we would have glossed over. Right. But she pinpointed right away, wait, actually. And then it was cute because she's like, she offered to try to support it. But like, luckily, or fortunately, I'm in a place now where I know then how to talk to the inner child or that inner version. So I was like, I got this part. Just, I need you to hold my hand and let me walk through it. So literally while we're driving, I'm driving, and it was like 5 minutes or so, right? I think. And I just like, I was like, okay, I want, and I like the tightness in the chest, like right there, the deepness, the sadness, the shame, the guilt. I ended up trying to talk to him, and it felt like he was in a pit, looking like wanting out, like he felt ashamed, like I had to bury him. But the cool part was, I was like, no, all of the versions of me, the younger versions of me, the 5-year-old, the 13-year-old, the 37-year-old, we threw him a lifeline, we threw him a rope down the pit, and we're like, grab the fucking rope. And so, but it was hard for him, right? He felt weight of the shame, the darkness. And so like, I'm playing this through my mind while I'm driving, talking to out loud while making sure we don't crash. But the tears are streaming down the face, and I'm offering like, you're safe up here. This hole doesn't serve you anymore. It's not healthy to any of us. Come out of the darkness. And so we were slowly pulling him up. He's grabbing up. He grabs ledge, gladiator hold, like with strength and honor. We grabbed him, we held him.
Yeah, it was cool because it was like 3 to 5 minutes tops, just to feel the emotion and sit with it instead of like just burying it further and let it fester and accumulate, because that's what people do throughout their whole lives. And that emotional weight gets stuck. We talk about it all the time, that the body keeps the score, and it's gonna.
Do you know that book?
Yeah, I have it at home. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So it took 3 to 5 minutes, and you just sit with it, and that's how you heal. It just encapsulates that part. So now going forward, there's no shame anymore attached to it. So we can just keep moving forward until the next trigger.
It doesn't mean though there's not emotions.
Right.
Like, cause like now it's more the sympathy, the empathy for suicide. And for sure, I know what it's like to get to the point where you aren't sleeping, and then you think the only way to end this is to do the eternal sleep. Which is the final sleep, right? Or the human's final sleep.
Sure.
Have you ever found yourself in a dark?
Yeah, multiple times. So I can empathize with that. And I think, there's different gender pressures, right? Like women, there's a lot of societal pressure to like look pretty and fit and
be fertile.
Yeah, forever. For men, it's like we have to be strong, you know? And I feel like part of the suicidal ideation might come from just personally experiencing this. Like it's not socially acceptable to talk about our hurts and our pain and like the struggles. And so we internalize that. And then we might be going through financial issues, relationship issues, whatever. And you feel like, gosh, the only way to solve this problem is just to end the problem and not be a burden, you know? So I've had those thoughts for sure. You know, growing up, you know, I had a older sibling that was like really abusive and controlling to me and stuff like that. And I couldn't tell anyone about it because that would be problematic. So I thought the only way I can solve this is if I just end my life. And I had like ruminated about it. I wasn't in a really dark spot, but I never really like planned for it, but it was circulating in my mind. And I would just say like, you know, that I think it's more common that we would acknowledge.
Definitely those thoughts.
Yeah. And they're really not healthy thoughts. If we look at like the biology of aging, getting back to metabolic health, just, you know, quickly talk about physiology, that accelerates aging, right? Like we all do all these things, you know, high rocks training or weightlifting, sleep, red light therapy. We talked about sauna, like having these negative ruminating thoughts are really bad for our biology. And it can be a self-propelling prophecy, right? So, yeah, like when those thoughts come through my mind, and they did during the divorce too, because there was like a bit of legality, you know, stuff. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is so unfair. And this, like they came into my mind and I just named it. And it just was like, no, I have a daughter. Like I have to be here for her. I can't even entertain that idea. So it would like come and then it would just go.
So your daughter is what kept you centered.
Yeah. So I think, you know, kids are great in that way. You know, they're great mirrors, just like relationships are great mirrors. You learn so much about yourself and all that. Being in a romantic relationship, your patterns constantly, you know, can cause problems in the relationship if you don't repair them. But having a child, you're like, hey, like I got to be here to support this kid, man. Like there's no, like that's it. But yeah, it's tough. Do you remember Adam from Willow's, the trainer?
Yes.
God, that was tough.
That was sad. So there was a trainer.
Okay.
And by the way, he seemed like the happiest trainer.
Yeah. Super outgoing, just like
super fit, like 8-pack, beautiful, like gladiator-esque physique. You know, I learned how to do proper kettlebell hinges from him.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to work out with him.
Yeah.
Or even go hiking. But no, was he 26, 28?
He's a young guy. Yeah.
He was, baby. Like, you would have never known that he was hurting that deeply. It took his life.
In the middle of summer.
Oh.
Yeah. It was really weird. Like, I remember there was like a memorial at the gym and a bunch of people worked out on his behalf. It was really special, but it was like, what a shame
about that.
Yeah. So, you know, I think these are, and people that have survived, like jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, there was a
guy,
book. He wrote a book and it's like the survivors will say like after, like they knew it was a mistake as soon as their feet left the bridge.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So like if you do things like shoot yourself, like there's no second chance, right? And so I think.
You know what's actually interesting where you're going with that is so women tend to have more suicide attempts, but men are more violent in their attempt. So men are usually more successful, I read.
That makes sense.
Because men are just like,
right. You're not coming back from that. Whereas women might swallow Tylenol and then you have a chance to go to the hospital and get your stomach pumped or what have you.
So where you were going with this though, I think is, well, I mean, we're curious about like, you were talking about like the pressures of being a man. I can definitely relate to like feeling like you have to be provider in every aspect and you can't show any weakness to your partner.
Right.
I mean, and there's a time and a place. I don't feel like it's fair to burden Sarah with certain things, but I will tell you one of the things I learned is to ask her for help. Like for example, I say, hey babe, I really need your help in the relationship with X.
Yeah, we have found that works way better versus like, even this morning, he started off like, we have to wake up because we have to pack. Wake up so you can pack. Like, you know, like just giving orders. And I was like, no, I want to rest. Yeah. But then he was like, babe, I would love your help so we can get ready and get on the road. and instantly I was like, oh, yes, babe, of course.
Like, can I have a hug?
Yeah. Like it instantly changed. So we catched ourselves versus like giving orders and directions and you, like just offer help. Always go inwards and be like, I would need your help right now. And instantly it just changed how I perceive you and how I want to show up for us. And it's a great way to
reframe.
Yeah. Right.
Because it seems like a relationship can only survive so many of those. The Gottlieb, is it the Gottliebs? They
Gottman.
Gottman, sorry, yes. The book Fight Right.
Yeah.
We literally just started working with the Gottmans last week.
Best.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Wow.
Go on.
Yeah,
well, I was going to say, like, these little micro fights, you know, a relationship can only sustain so much of that before there's so much resentment that can lead to the fracture of the relationship. So just small little reframes and getting out of your own way as maybe, you know, James, you're like, well, I want this to happen, so I'm just going to like through force, but instead just putting the ego to the side, being gentle about it will cause more cohesiveness because it's much easier to remain close if you're not fighting all the time. So I think that's awesome.
Well said.
Figure that out.
Yeah, we work through that a lot, and how to rephrase, especially for me. Like sometimes I can be very harsh in a tone, but reframing it and just changing my tone changes everything.
Right.
So I truly believe in the micro,
especially on feedback.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the feedback.
Oh man, I learned very quickly on with Sarah. Tough love is not the way to joint, because we're on the joint mission together.
Right.
And with her, because she's such a strong, independent person, if I give lead to, she's like, no, double down with the heels.
Yeah, I'm still a girly girl.
You are very much,
a princess.
You are, like, whereas I would much rather have harsh truths than soft lies. Like, just give it to me straight, and then I'll pivot and adjust with the feedback, right? Sarah is more of invite them with a question. So, for example, to put this into real reality, she was working out. Well, we got to the gym at the same time. We had, just because of our schedules, we had to take 2 separate cars. And I go in, I'm working out. 25 minutes later, Sarah's still not in the gym. I'm like, where's Sarah? You know, because we have to eat later and everything. And I wanted to do dinners with her. So I come back out. I'm like, she's still in the car, and she's like doing multiple takes. I was like, what's going on? She's like, I'm in a blow stat. And I was like, yeah, okay. She's like, I've done like 25 takes. I was like, so that's 25 minutes. Okay. Are you going to use any of those? She's like, no. I was like, okay. It's like, babe, what are you doing? And so I said to her, I was like, all right, well, show me what you did. And so she's like, oh, no, I'm stressed. I was like, no, it's okay. I'll look away. And so she does a recording. And then Sarah, of course, is like, what did you say?
Well, I don't know what I said, but
you wanted my feedback.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but I guess I wanted your feedback, and what do you think?
Yeah.
But the reason this is important for context is because one of my biggest insecurities have been to be seen and speak. Hence, we're doing this podcast for me to heal that part of myself and get my voice out there. But to talk in front of a camera is a big deal for me, and I feel like I avoid it a lot. But I know that's part of my business and my brand, and like I need to do it to overcome this. So here I am being in the flow state. I'm not getting content good enough to release according to my standards, but at least I did 25 takes and I was really proud of myself, and I got everything I needed into the 60 seconds that I had to do each take. So I was looking for praise, like, oh my God, here I am.
Great job.
Here I am, like working on my insecurity and
do you
my.
think James did that?
No,
no, this is shit.
Yeah,
next.
Like he was like, you should do this, make it like this instead. And it was, I felt invalidated. I felt,
But here's the kicker. So to her point, you felt invalidated. You felt criticized. You
criticized is the word.
You felt, well, you doubled down on that. I kept saying, I know you're criticizing that. And or I feel like I'm stupid and all these other things. And so as the man, I'm thinking logical brain. I'm like, I didn't use the word stupid. I never said you were dumb. But so like, I'm trying to correct that wording and narrative, but in her mind, she's already felt in her feels, which is, you made me feel stupid. You made me feel criticized. You made this feel like I was dumb to do this. And so, but again, I'm over here now thinking, no, I didn't use those words. No. And she's like, but I'm feeling that way. So it doesn't matter if you use those words or not. See that, brah. And so what I'm learning too is like in these moments, like you have to acknowledge the feeling And even if the words that you use weren't the words that got there, it doesn't matter. They're feeling that state. And so for Sarah, what I could have and should have done, and what we ended up doing, which is the Gottman Institute, they talk about flooding, right? Sarah notices we're totally not on the same wavelength. And so it's just spiraling out to more of an emotional state. And so she says to me, she's like, she's like, we need to go separate. You need to go work out. I need to go work out. We'll meet back up later, which is perfect. Because again, you need to put the end point.
Yeah.
Otherwise we have anxiety.
Right.
Are we ever going to reconcile? So literally within 5 minutes of me on the bench press, I'm like, shit, this is how I should have phrased it. I should have said, hey babe, I love what you've just done. Are you open to me adjusting the arrangement of it? Like that right there.
And be kind and soft, I would respond way better too, because it had to do with my wound.
But I didn't see the wound in the moment. But again, even just asking her that question would have empowered her. Because I didn't change like any of the words. I was trying to change the order for the hook and whatnot. And so again, giving her an empowered statement saying, are you open to me adjusting some things? That allows her, then also she can try to ask questions like, well, why are we moving it here? Why are we then it's more of a dance. It's instead of a follow my order, follow my direction. And that's not a partnership.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Have you ever had an insecurity or anything that you've been working through that?
Yeah, multiple.
No, babe, he's not. He is the perfect human right here.
Yeah. It looks like it, yeah.
No, I would say, you know what, the sort of stage fright or being overly self-conscious, like I've dealt with that a lot, especially as it pertains to recording content and as well as speaking publicly. So I used to be really, really nervous but I knew that was the only way I was going to accelerate my brand and what I was doing. So I would hold these small little workshops for doctors, and I had like 5 doctors, and it was 8 doctors and 12. And like the biggest event I've done is 3,000 people in Bogota, Colombia at an event.
Oh, wow.
So like and I was actually really nervous for that too, but I didn't show it. And so the way that I've reframed this, if I may, for myself, I don't know if it'll work for you, Sarah, or others listening, is that being selfish, being self-conscious is ultimately selfish and that's how I've taught myself, because you're worried more about your ego and how you look and stuff, and you're trying to help people. So if you just trick your mind and say, me being nervous right now is selfish because you can help people. Like there's a lot of women that want to be strong with like you, like they'd be like, why is she nervous? Like she has the look that I want. Like I want to learn from you. So if you can just reframe that, it may help you. It's helped me a lot. Like, hey, I have things that I can teach. Maybe not everyone, but there's people that I can help. And if I'm nervous or self-conscious about this or that, like I just have to get out of my own way and just like serve and give value. So you're just give value. It's not going to be perfect. There's so many viral videos of people just like in their car, like talking. They don't look great, but like it's the message, the delivery, and just reframe that like you're here to teach. Like you have, a unique skill set and attributes that people want. And that might help with some of the nerves. And that's really helped me. It was like, hey, if I go on stage and F this up, with 3,000 people, like it was in Bogota, Colombia, where obesity is now rampant because of all the food that we're importing from America down there. And so I gave a great talk, right? Because I was like trying to get out of my own way. So if I was or if I was like, well, how do I look? Or how is this? Or I didn't say that right. So that's how I've like the 5-minute breathwork session that we had here. I'll do that before I do podcasts or before an interview or whatever. Like you're just trying to like serve and help people. That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
So that's kind of helped me. I don't know if it'll help you or not, but
no, I love that. It's the intention behind it. Why are we doing what we are doing? We're not doing it to self-serve. We're here to use our teachings to help others. I love that. That's a great.
Might help.
Yes. Yeah. And I've heard that before, and somehow I forgot it. Recently, I'm thinking that no one cares anyway, and they're not going to remember it, so just send it. But I'm still feeling myself holding back. So I'm going to try to implement that actually, because it might help.
Life is a game.
It is a game.
And when you remind yourself it's a game, you go back to like your childhood on the playgrounds and swinging from trees, breaking your arms. Okay, broke arm. I'm going to go on the other tree with my other arm. Like, right? Arm wrestling is a game, but you're a professional athlete.
But I like that actually, because tearing my shoulders 3 times in the last 5 years, it didn't stop me from pursuing arm wrestling.
Okay.
I was just in a sling training my other arm. That got super strong.
Wow, that's
and
a cool
I would still, I would not stop. And then when I was back with the other one, okay, then I would keep going until the next. Hopefully this will be the last time now.
Last tear?
The last tear. So I can just
and last
full
marriage?
send. And last marriage.
My first and last as well.
My third and last.
Hey, third time's a charm, babe.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, they were all lessons, you learned a lot and grew as a person.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Clearly you have very fertile sperm. That's pretty abrupt. What are some things that you think you've been doing that have helped with your sperm activity T count? Because dude, this is super prevalent nowadays. Like people are really having to go into IVF, and that there's nothing wrong necessarily. Like the fact that that's available, yes, awesome. Amazing. We might have to do it.
Yeah.
And so I would love to get from you, what are some wisdom bits on increase your
fertility?
Fertility as a man with your sperm.
Yeah. Gosh, I think just being mindful of the microplastics and chemicals. Like, if I dry clean my clothes, I let them air dry out before I put them on. I always drink filtered water, even when I travel. I haven't had water out of a plastic bottle probably for decades. Don't eat fast food. So it's not like a lot of really complex esoteric things. I think the sauna probably helps. But just some of the basics, I feel like that's really important. And I've done some things wrong. Like in college, I was telling you guys in the sauna, like I did 2 cycles of steroids, right? So I think my testosterone level is probably not now at 44 what it could be. But I take Tunga Ali and cordyceps and bovine testicular extract and glandulars. But sleep, I think, is really important too. But I feel that the microplastics and chemicals, because they actually get concentrated all over the body, in the brain, but also in the penile tissue and the testes. So being more mindful of that. There's a company called Nads. They make organic cotton underwear. Yes. So I rock those,
I just freeball it. Fact.
Dude, that's cool.
I love bidets for that reason.
Yes.
You always got to have a clean bum.
Right. Yeah, they're all over Europe. We don't have them here. I mean, some people have them in their house, but
we do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You got to have that. I mean, it's a game changer too, because then you end up losing less toilet paper.
Yes.
True.
Right. And the Japanese were onto something.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
But Mike, I love what you said, that every decision we make can be conscious towards helping and serving ourselves.
It adds up to the...
It really does add up. Yeah.
Totally.
You want to talk about a conscious decision we made yesterday, and we loved it?
Yes. So I also, for about a year now, have not had any fast food. I'm very particular with what I put in my body, whether it's laundry detergent or the soap on my hands. I stopped using perfume and essential oils, because everything over time accumulates and will mess with my hormones. It's not going to serve my vessel. I'm not going to operate at my highest potential if I'm inhibiting it with chemicals and toxins and whatnot. And so here we are, we're about to go hike, and we need energy and fuel for a hike. And we eat very clean and very good when we're home. And I'm at least making good decisions when we're on the road.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it needs to be organic, and ingredient is the ingredient, and whatever. But we're on the way to the mountains, and James here is pulling into Chick-fil-A, and it shook me, because I've been with this man now for a while, and we've never had fast food. And we talk about this a lot, and he's just turning in. He's not even consulting with me. Hey, should we do something? I assumed that we were going to have a good meal on the way to the hike. I assumed, but I also know now we're not supposed to assume. So I'm like, I had a strong reaction. I admit I could have handled it way differently, but it triggered me. I was shook that he was even considering having this meal, right? So I started crying.
And in this moment, I'm not shaking. I'm not wavering in the sense of okay, well, I'm not going to react to her. I'm just letting her I'm holding space for her. And I'm like, what's really the root here? It's not Chick-fil-A the reason why you're crying. What's deeper?
Well, it was added on to what I was feeling, that, wow, we're on this trip together. Sharing meals together is a big part of how I grew up, and it's important. Food is love, and I want our meals to be intentional and mindful, and to feed our vessel and big purpose
but
and all that.
also it was a culmination of the weeks, like I guess we had been missing some dinners together from work, and she didn't share with me that like, hey, this is starting to really
bother.
I'm feeling disconnected actually. And then in that crying, she then brought up like, I feel like the last 2 weeks and everything, we haven't been doing dinners like that. I feel like it's a slippery slope. And I'm like, cause see what I mean? And this is important. Like as a man, I will encourage you when your woman is having this reaction, it's very rarely the actual thing. There's a bunch of other things. So hold space in the storm. Don't be like, you're an idiot. What is wrong with you? It's just Chick-fil-A. It's like, okay, baby, what's really the root here? Process, sit with it, talk through it.
Yeah, so it definitely caught a deeper thing that I was just, I guess, in fear that we were disconnecting
from values.
From values.
Right. Totally makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
But then, of course, I don't want you to put seed oils in your body, baby.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah.
No, for me, it was more like,
I want you to be the best version of you.
Me, I was like, I just wanted a quick egg bowl.
Yeah, you're like time efficient. Let's go.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But then so the lesson for you in this was what?
To communicate in a softer way what I wanted, because had I said that, hey babe, let's find a nice restaurant,
I would have done that.
Yeah. Like 100%. He always do what I want.
Whoa. Okay, queen.
Yes.
I'm not queen.
But then we found this local, beautiful little place where the owner has owned it for so long, and she's like a local resident. She's like, I choose all my ingredients with my heart, and everything is pure and cooked from scratch. And I was like, heck yeah. And we had a ribeye with home fries.
Way better than Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. So now we were fueled properly for a hike, and it started a vessel, and it was delicious. And we also supported a local business versus a chain. So
what was really what was really cool is, again, it's about intentionality.
Right.
Like when you're intentional, like it's okay. So like we woke up, I was hungry. But if I knew that, okay, we're going to do this together, this is the joint plan, I can sacrifice 45 minutes of not eating and just drink some more water. Right. So like, and then I loved the breakfast because it was so clean. Yeah. I like a steak for breakfast. That's the cowboy way.
Yeah.
Where was this? Leavenworth or?
No, it was on the way from here. It was like halfway between here and Mount Rainier.
Okay.
Well, I'll have to pull the plate.
Enumclaw maybe.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. Yes. Enumclaw is on the way going from Sunrise. We're going the other way down. So through Ashburn.
Oh, okay. Like Packwood area maybe.
Yeah. Man, that's fire spot.
Yeah.
And like the cool part again, she says about this owner, she worked her way up from a server.
Yep.
Then
became a manager, bought it.
Wow.
Very
super cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Takes a lot of pride in her business, and that's her mission, to serve back to the community, and that's what we want to support.
That's what it's all about.
I will always choose small business over, like, to the point where I took Sarah to Pike's Market. How awesome was that? And I took her to this guy who's owned a falafel shop for 23 years in Pike's Place.
Wow.
It's been there for 23 years, which is impressive.
Yes.
It's the best shawarma you'll ever have. I promise you gotta go. And during COVID, he got really hurt, but I made a point like every day to go get a shawarma from him and support him.
Yeah.
So like, we got to give him a shout out. It's Falafel King, right across from Showgirls.
The irony, it's still there.
It's still there. But it's just really cool because these people, they put their heart and soul into it. And so back to you, what was the culminating thing where you wanted to start this company? Because your heart and soul was into it.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it was just, seeing what's happened in the nutrition space. So there's about 6,000 brands and maybe 200 manufacturers. So there's just all these, and I get it, but there's a lot of VC and venture capital, private equity money going into these brands. And the idea is like a 3 to 5 year exit. And that's cool. Like, we all want to make money, and it's an easy way to make money and all that. I get it. But I really wanted a product that I could confidently give to friends, family. I do some small coaching, my daughter, and because here's the thing about supplements, unlike food, like when you go buy bananas, you're like, oh, it's organic. You can tell it's a banana. When you take a magnesium pill, it's white. Like, it could be microcrystalline cellulose, it could be zinc, it could be bamboo extract. So, there's a lot of shenanigans in the supplement space I've seen over the past 20 years. And that's why, there's third-party testing and there's all these things that have emerged. But what I found is, like, most companies, most nutrition businesses, they just want the highest margin, lowest cost of goods. We talk about popular electrolytes in the sauna. Like their cost of goods is like $2 to $3 and they sell it for $45. It's great, but great for business, but like the customer's not really getting good value.
Yeah.
So I wanted a product that people were getting really good value, good sourced raw materials, domestic raw materials, and made by people who actually care about what they're doing. So we have a team of 10 people. It's a small outfit.
Oh, wow.
But so then they love what they're doing and they're putting food on the table for their families and evolving their lives and growing in their own way, which is sort of cool.
And the name of your brand?
It's called Myioscience.
So all right, check them out because you've also got some, I always got to support a friend.
Oh, that's
so Myioscience, is that their Instagram as well?
Yeah, Myioscience with an X. So
MYO Instagram and the handles and everything for you. Okay.
And you're on Amazon.
Yeah, we're on Amazon. Yeah, we're a big reseller, I should say, of the German creatine, Creavitalis. So that's our top selling product. We started out actually in 2021 with creatine electrolytes. So we do stick packs and powder with that. We have a grass-fed beef protein from Sweden, actually, the hydro beef raw material with collagen. So yeah, so there's protein from China, like we have a brand and also manufacturing. We do our own manufacturing. That's new. That's an endeavor that's 18 months old. But I've learned a ton on the sourcing side. Many companies are just sourcing the cheapest crap from China.
Yeah, and that's why I like my manufacturer,
right?
Because I can actually trace where it's coming from, and they give me certificates of authenticity.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make sure my ingredients were the cleanest because I wanted it to take it for me.
Right.
I wanted my family. I wanted to be able to stand by and say, if you took a screenshot of the ingredients, the dosing, and everything, my claims, I stand behind them.
Yeah.
Right. And like Sarah, you had a brand too, and you were talking about how people white label.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say it's the easy way and what people do, and to make money, it's not really much intention behind it.
Right.
Because if there was intention there to, like, one thing I learned from James Recover product, for example, it's you make the product because you yourself are the customer.
Yeah.
What would you personally benefit from, and then what is the market lacking, and then you come up with that. So that seems what you're doing because you care deeply about them.
No sunflower oil in your protein?
No high fructose corn syrup. No.
It's
red number 6.
Because there are some brands that when you look at it's supposed to just be protein.
Yeah.
And then you see sunflower oil. And
what is the purpose to do sunflower oil in a protein? What is?
They agglomerate. So a lot of proteins, they don't flow. They're non-free flowing. So they agglomerate it with sunflower or soy or sunflower usually. So basically what makes food taste good is salt, sugar, fat. So protein usually doesn't have much fat in it because fat will oxidize. So protein powder has been stripped of the fat. So you can add it back in, with high oleic acid, canola or sunflower or soy. So yeah, that's kind of the issue with protein. And, it's mostly in the vegan proteins, which are higher in heavy metals. So that's why I don't recommend vegan protein powder. Actually, Orgain's in a big lawsuit right now. Costco's suing Orgain because Orgain used to sell a lot through Costco.
I know.
And it turns out, they have a lot of, and all the vegan proteins. It's not just specific to Orgain. They don't even make the raw material. Obviously, it's getting, sent to them from a distributor. But, that you hyper concentrate the protein from, say, pea or rice, you're going to get the heavy metals, arsenic, cadmium, lead, and mercury.
Really?
From the soil. So that's why I think, animal-based protein, whether it's whey or a bovine, collagen or a beef or even blood protein is better than vegan.
Ooh. So you have a 14-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. How is your approach to life and the metabolic health and everything helping her, if it does? Because I know a lot of kids, they are in their own world. They want to eat snacks and junk and they don't really care. And is your daughter applying any of your teachings to herself, or are you making sure that happens? Do you understand my question?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. And for the first 13 years of her life, absolutely. And I got her started to, my ex-wife and I, Deanna, she started hiking when she was 3 years old. We went to Grouse Grind. I don't know if you've done that in Vancouver. It's a great hike. So you can hike up and then it's 2,000 feet up and you can take a tram down. So yeah, she had an amazing upbringing with a lot of nutrient-dense whole food that we made from scratch. She's never been to McDonald's or anything like that. But now that she's a teenager and her friends, so there's a lot of influence from her friends. So I have I used to be more controlling with it by force, but that doesn't work, as we just talked about. So I more ask questions like, so how do you feel? And I notice her skin is breaking out. And then she's started to, gain a little weight, which is very sensitive, but I'll just say, well, Neza, like, how are you feeling with stuff? And she'll be like, gosh, my skin is breaking out. I need more makeup. I'm like, no, it's your food. She's like, oh yeah, the sandwiches were this. And so it was really interesting. She went on a trip with an extended family member in 2024. They went to Cabo, and she had Shirley Temples. She's never had soda before. Shirley Temples, mac and cheese, and she came back looking like a chipmunk. I didn't say anything about her about this, but she had impetigo, acne, and now she'll talk about it in hindsight, like, oh, remember when I was eating all that junky food? So she gets it. And so I think being really consistent with exercise, she did track and cross country for years and did really well with that, and Whole Foods. Like, she gets it, but she still is gravitating towards like the standard American diet. But we don't have that in the house, but when she goes to friends' houses, they'll have fast food or this or that. And so she's aware. I think is going through a little bit of a rebellious phase at 14, but it makes a huge difference. I mean, growing up, seeing her side by side to other kids who eat the standard American diet, she could sit there and focus and had attention span, and like the emotional volatility that you see in kids and the hyperreactivity is, I would argue, a lot of it, could be chemicals and vaccines or whatever, but it's mostly food, I would say. These kids, when they're eating like Sour Patch Kids and Pop-Tarts, like their energy is just like a roller coaster.
I'll validate that. When I had, I still have ADHD, but growing up, my mom looked at the ingredients, and like anytime I had Cocoa Puffs, is high what does that call them?
High fructose corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup. That would like, with my ADHD. And like, or like sometimes like those, Sobe drinks back in the day, they had that stuff in there too, or like that. And so, we tried to avoid that stuff. So instead of that, we still had cereal because it was convenient. Wheaties.
Yeah.
And which shows like you think that's healthy for you, but like it's getting closer and farther away. At least it doesn't have that crap in it.
Right.
So going on that, what are some basic things you think you could recommend to adults and also for kids to help with cellular growth? And like, I mean, we can't say just cut out all fast foods and whatever, but like, what are some mindful coaching best practices?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is exercise, in my opinion. I mean, you look at like fitness models and bodybuilders, like a lot of them can eat like shit, they can have but they can look really good. So I think exercise is like the exercise and sleep are the biggest levers we have access to, in my opinion. Diet is obviously super important as well, but the more that you have some sort of fitness goal, and it can be running a 10K, it can be whatever. This is why I like High Rocks and CrossFit and these things, because having something to strive for keeps people accountable. You build that community. I think many people are just lacking community, and they're searching for it in other maladaptive ways, Facebook or Instagram binge watching. So having a fitness goal, I think, is really important. And then that will cause you to make congruent decisions when it comes to nutrition, because you're going to want to recover better, feel better. And the more that you become physically fit, the more sensitive your body is. And the more you realize the energy fluctuations from having a Pop-Tart or Cocoa Puffs or whatever the thing is, because you're like, oh, wow, I didn't sleep good last night, or I drank too much alcohol, and now I can't go to the gym on time. Then my accountability partner's like, where are you, right? So I think that, to me, is the biggest catalyst, is having some sort of fitness goal, because it's going to reinforce all of the other behaviors. So if you're just eating good, that's awesome, but you don't really sort of have that community reinforcement, if you will. So I think they both are very important, but starting out with just walking after meals, I think is great.
Yes. Best decision I ever did. Was even walking half a mile. 1,000 steps.
Yeah.
Right after it metabolizes. So like, and people think like it's about how many steps, which is important, but like it's when you get your steps, right? When you wake up.
Consistency. Yeah. Just 10 minutes goes a long way. It adds up.
And I would even encourage people, like when it's for work, let's say you have a meeting you have to be part of, but you don't have to present.
Right.
What I would encourage is, if you can, take the call from a walk.
Yes.
You're going to have to be on the call anyways.
Right.
Do you really want to be hunched over on a desk? If you're not presenting, you can look at the screen, like go for the walk, get the 10-minute walk in.
Totally. You're
or 30
receive
minutes
more. I mean, Steve Jobs, I don't know, you probably read his biography. Yeah. He would always take his meetings walking,
Best decision. And like Sarah does a lot of her most productive work on the stairmaster.
True.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting in such a flow state
That's
on the
cool.
Stairmaster, just the moving and keeping the posture and working muscles. Like, because without our bodies, we wouldn't be able to live our life.
Right.
So you have to tend to it. It's just a non-negotiable
absolutely
standard.
But what's really cool about the Stairmaster, like versus just like walking, is with the Stairmaster, you don't have to worry about, am I going to step over something?
Yeah.
You're just going up and down. And so your body becomes almost in a metronome. Like it's it's creating its own white noise.
Right.
And I think that's what's like, I would love to start looking into the science of the flow. How does that flow state navigate?
That would be so cool.
Right.
The Stairmaster I did a lot in college too, actually. I think it's awesome. Yeah. It's a shame that more gyms don't have that anymore. I feel like it was popular like 10 years ago and I don't see many gyms that have it.
And they're not that expensive equipment. Like we were looking on Amazon, $1,200.
That's not bad.
I mean they can go up there to 20,000, like the nicer ones.
Yeah,
the
but we're not
ones.
Equinox.
I know. I'm saying like
Do you guys have one at home?
We're actually working on that right now.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a sauna at the house too,
Sweet.
and we're getting a cold plunge soon. We have all those red lights. We're creating a recovery center, but yeah, I want to get her a Stairmaster.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could buy right now, but we're working on getting it sponsored.
Like a brand
there
deal.
you go.
Why not?
Yeah, that's totally.
If she's posting every day from it, like, come on.
Yeah.
No, my audience just expects that from me because that's what I've always done.
Yeah.
I always post from the Stairmaster.
That's cool.
So, I'm trying to work out a brand deal. So if you watch this or know someone, you can reach out to us.
Or we might already have it by this point. Who knows?
Yeah. That's a great idea. That's awesome.
Okay. My advice, we're going to wrap this up.
Sure.
But before
No, we have a question that we would like to ask our guest. Which is a year from now, where would you want to be?
Oh, great question. I would like to I'm renting for our manufacturing space, 2 different locations. I would like to own a 50,000 square foot facility so we can control everything.
Wow.
That's where I want to be.
To put into mind, babe, you know how much 50,000 square feet is?
Yeah.
Yeah. You do?
Yeah.
How big is that?
It's really big.
Okay. So I'm going to do a visual. You ever been to a Buc-ee's?
Yeah.
Okay. Buc-ee's from end to end, wall to wall, there's about 40,000 square foot. So he wants a location longer and obviously higher ceilings than a Buc-ee's. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we can just store more. We can, have
and consolidate to one.
Exactly. Yeah. It's tough having 2 different facilities. I mean, they're in the same, geolocation, but it is a pain. Yeah.
So let me elaborate on that question. We want to hear a business goal and a personal goal. So that would be a business goal then.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny too that he went first to business?
Yeah, it's interesting.
And not personal.
Yeah.
Oh, do most people go personal?
No, they all do business.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the classic societal expectations that your work is supposed to be the most important thing.
Yeah, no, I know.
He got caught in that trap. It's okay.
Yeah. No, it's the biggest source of stress right now in my life too.
Ooh. Okay.
So that's why it's like it will solve. Yeah. And then long term, I've never I bought my condo when I was 23. Remember those 3% FHA loans that we used to have, that were all shady before 2008. So I don't like paying commercial loan, like for a lease. Like it's just like I'm paying someone else's mortgage. Like I'd rather own the real estate and then, but anyway, so on a personal goal, oh man, I would like to be able to just read a book a week. I've had that goal for a long time, and I'll start a book and then I'll stop it, and I read the Daily Stoic every morning. But just to really be consistent with that, I feel like would be awesome.
What time of day would you need to prioritize that to make it happen?
In the morning.
In the morning, and do you have a goal 10 minutes or 10 pages or anything like that?
Gosh, I think to sit down and just have the mental sort of clarity to just sit there and read 100 pages every morning.
100 pages.
I think that'd be awesome.
How long would that take?
Well, so I speed read with using your hands. Yeah. So our eyes try to intelligize every single word and vocalize those internally. But if you use your hands, you force yourself to read a little bit faster.
So I used to read 50 pages an hour.
Wow.
But retain. But that was in high school, because you had literally in class, they would make you sit down and okay, today we're reading.
Yeah.
And then we have to do a quiz on it. But that was really cool because
awesome.
There was no multiple choice. It was these are the main questions we're going to have to ask. Mm-hmm. Do you understand or not?
Yeah.
So it forces you to it forces intention going into reading.
Right.
I think the average person reads maybe 25, 30 pages an hour. So yeah, maybe 2 hours of reading. But okay, so we had your professional, Your personal, and then what about familial?
Familial, yes. You know what? I would like a better relationship with my daughter for sure. We used to be super close, and then since her mom got her a phone when she was 13, I feel pretty disconnected to her because she's there's just the pull towards these phones is crazy. So yeah, we always, it's like the source of constant conflict. This phone thing is tough. So learning how to like approach, like coming up with ways to approach that in a more gentle way. Cause I'm coming with force. Like, you're on the phone again. Oh my, I'm going to take it away. Like all that. And so that's like my thing that I have to work on.
So one of the things that Sarah does with us too, because being an online influencer and like I spend a majority of my time answering my emails through my phone versus a computer.
Yeah.
So like, it's just that natural pull. She will ask me if she sees me and I ask her, are you producing or consuming?
Great.
It's again a question of empowerment.
Yeah.
It's like reminding you like, I don't want to be consuming. Like, I don't want people to be taking my power, especially when it's an Instagram doom scroll.
Right.
Like, no, I want to be producing.
Yeah. It's so tempting though. Yeah. It's just that constant
So that's
novelty.
why a quick question: Are you producing or consuming? And there's time and place. Like my dad used to give me an hour a day, to go watch shows, and my show was always Mythbusters.
Nice.
Which was always you were learning in that show too. It was such a cool show. So that's my advice. And you're also got a baby on the way though.
Yes. Yeah. New baby in October. Should be wild. So I'm excited for that. And so, all of these, business things relate to being more present this go around, because when my daughter was born, we had that like work thing that I talked about, getting fired and having to relocate and blah, blah, blah. So just being more present during those small moments when they're younger, because it goes by so fast. Like the last 14 years with my daughter was like a blink of an eye. So with Roman, I'm sure it's going to go by fast as well, but I want to be very present. Yeah, and I have a little bit of guilt and shame, like, because I wasn't very conscious or self-aware when my daughter was born, because I was getting into all this stuff. So applying more gentle parenting and just empowering him to be a emotionally intelligent young man and do fun adventures and all that with him will be really exciting.
And then my follow-up would be, what do you think you would do differently with this relationship with
Ashley? Yeah.
Ashley, than in your prior one to help ensure that it's a healthy environment for all?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. Again, being more gentle when realizing that conflicts happen and then focusing more on the repair, I would say.
Yeah.
Reconciliation.
Yeah. Seek to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live by that.
Because a lot of what we've learned from these people that are 40 years married, 27 years married, and they shrink, it's because they avoid the hard conversations. They're just they're like, oh, that friction. So I'm just going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hyper focus on my own side hobbies.
Yeah.
And then I'm always in the shed building something, or I'm always doing this sport. And then because we've been finding is people will say, you need your own separate things and go on your girls' trips and go on your boys. And I'm like, why? Hold on. What's the real reason though? Are you escaping? Because if you find yourself doing these so frequently, it's because you're not satisfied. This is my opinion. You're not satisfied at home. I would much rather go to Target with Sarah than my bros. I love my bros.
Yeah.
But like, or on a trip, or heads up, you can, if you find healthy friends, you can do friends trips.
Yeah.
Like this, the whole idea of delineating, this is still my separate life. No, my opinion is, I go back to a biblical representation, is like, it's, you both have the foundation and you go both try to point to God. And so you're both supposed to be building up, not this. It should never be this.
Yeah.
It should be, let's come together and build upwards. Otherwise, there's still the ego, the fear, the anxiety. Oh, friction. Well, even people are saying we shouldn't go into business together. No, I want to do business with her because it's forcing me to be a better communicator and be more empathetic. And guess what? That bleeds into everything else. If people don't go into business with your family or whatever, that's because you're afraid to have the difficult conversations. And not, don't get me wrong. It only works if both people are trying to actually do the work. You could be trying and reconciling, but if your other partner is not doing the inner work too, you'll never get the result. You'll just find yourself again resenting, just doing sidebars. And then the minute friction, boop, What do you think about that, babe?
No, yeah, I agree. I have learned with you
Oh,
that 1 + 1 = 11, and it's not a separate thing. I thought for the longest time that after the 2 failed marriages, or not failed, but ended marriages, that I need to be on my own in order to reach my full potential. Men will just hold me back, but that has shifted now with James, understanding that he actually just wants to multiply. He wants to build on my mission, which is our mission, right?
Yeah.
Like we are a
when
unit.
she wins, we win. When I win, we win. It's come on.
That's great. That's beautiful. That's what it should be about. Otherwise, why be in a relationship, really?
I mean,
if you're going to work simultaneously, it's like, well, then it's not really a relationship.
No, I mean, because you can get sex from anything and not have to deal with the rest.
Right.
So, sorry, babe, I didn't mean to throw you off. You were saying 1 + 1 = 11. Shama.
Yeah.
What up? This is who I am, by the way.
I think it's awesome, man. I think it's great.
But it's so crazy what Sarah was alluding to. And we need to wrap. I feel bad. But what we were alluding to was, I find when I meet even men, they're like, the world society says we're supposed to be in a relationship or whatever. And I'm like, we ultimately do desire companionship. We are oriented around companionship and community, right? And it's not weakness to be, but we just have had bad experiences, and that creates the trauma of then them not doing the internal work to be vulnerable enough again to find another person and say what they actually want. Like, you want someone that is building. Because I had a friend say to me recently, he's like, my way is I get back to the community. So but what if you had a partner that was just as passionate about building communities? And now all of a sudden, when you're tired because it takes a lot of time and energy, she's there and be like, baby, we've got this together, and brainstorming and coming up with other ways. And because I grew up with my mom and my dad church planning together, and that was really cool to see them share a mission. Doesn't mean they weren't fighting. Doesn't mean they didn't. But man, they were always back to their goal. And that was really, really cool.
That's awesome.
So there's that. Yeah. Babe, what do you want to leave us off with?
Well, I want to express gratitude to Mike for sharing a moment with us with fika, part of Swedish culture that we're trying to implement here on our podcast. It was wonderful to have a conversation with you and learning more about you.
And we want to thank our sponsors, Daughter,
collagen
the best
drink.
collagen clean marine drink out there on the world.
Yeah. What's your opinion on collagen?
I think collagen's amazing. Yeah, I think, historically, we would probably have a lot more of it in our diet, but people don't have the time to make bone broth. Right? So it's nice to get it from a supplement, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Hers comes from Iceland.
That's awesome.
Marine collagen out of the Icelandic fjord.
Very conscious, intentional. They source their fish from there because it's just better preserved in the fish.
Totally.
So it's a cool mission behind it. Strength in every sip.
Super cool. I love it. Iceland is so beautiful. Very special place.
And then also sponsor Recover. Thank you for all your recovery and supplement needs. And also check out Mike's products. This is a shout out. Tell them what you've got, Mike.
Yeah, Myioscience. So we source some of the best creatine in the world from Germany through Allschem. So the Creavitalis material is really popular for folks. We do our magnesium is sourced from Belgium, which is great. The ATA Mag, magnesium acetyltaurinate. So if you want to get magnesium that can get into your brain, that's a great source. So yeah, it's Myioscience.
Which magnesium is it?
So you have the dimag malate, which is great. Dimagnesium malate. So minerals need to be chelated.
You heard that first, babe. He proves.
Yeah.
So that's great. Malic acid is a cofactor. It's really great for energy recovery. Like we use that in our muscles. The magnesium acetyltaurinate. So you think taurine that's acetylated bound to magnesium. It can help get it into the brain better. So it's a company out of Belgium. It's a new magnesium. So optimized magnesium.
I haven't heard that one. Everyone knows of magnesium
3
or
glycinate.
Glycinate.
Yeah. And that's great. Glycinate, we use that as well. So we do dimagmalate, glycinate, and acetyltaurinate in a capsule.
And you have a men's product coming out soon.
Yeah, the Tunga Ali. I'm a huge fan of that. It's like they call it like Malaysian ginseng.
I do that. I love horny goat meat. Lion's mane.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple others that I take as my cocktail, as Sarah.
Nice. That's a great name, dude. I love that.
It works great.
I'd be honest. It's a thing, but I'll tell you what. When I combine these beautiful roots together, I find myself looking at her and going,
It works, man.
It does.
Yeah, your root chakra is
my
activated.
chakra is
Yeah.
so activated.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like alignment
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's awesome. Well, I'm grateful for you both.
Yeah.
It was awesome to sauna and communicate
Mm.
with you guys in this way. So I'm grateful that
So-
this worked out. This
yeah.
was great.
So this is again Fika Unfiltered with Mike from High Intensity. You said
High intensity health.
High Intensity Health and Metabolic Mike. Check him out.
Mhm.
My name is James Arturi,
And I'm Sarah Backman.
and join us again for another Fika. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.